Welcome to Weekend Meetup. Today we have a group meetup, all on topics pertaining to summer and the 4th of July. Carrie Ann starts the episode with information on ticks, which are more active in the summer. She also will discuss critical area regulations that come into play should a pier be accidentally damaged, as for instance, by a fire started by fireworks. Hannah's then going to discuss July 4th pet safety, such as not taking pets to events that attract crowds. And then I will have a really brief segment on the Declaration of Independence and William Paca. Larry's behind the camera and running the audio. Over to you, Carrie Ann. Take it away.
Okay, so this upcoming weekend, many of you will be enjoying some wonderful festivities, perhaps some nice picnics, setting off some fireworks. So one thing that people need to be aware of when you're laying in the grass or perhaps running through a wonderful forest leading up to your nice picnic would be ticks. I do know that my colleague Hannah has talked to you previously about tick-borne illness in your pets. However, ticks in Maryland are quite prevalent. As a whole, there's over 850 species of ticks. So, not all of these carry tick-borne illness for humans. Some just are, for, dogs, or will affect different animals differently. So what happens if after you, get up from the grass, because ticks like to hang out in grass or on the ends of long grasses or trees or something like that, because the whole purpose behind a tick, kind of, is to be able to kind of dangle out there and then catch a ride on their host organism. So, which would be you. So, you get back home and you find out, oh my goodness, I have a tick on my arm or perhaps on my neck. So what do? I'm not a healthcare professional. However, my advice to you, and the advice on websites such as the University of Maryland Medical Center, would be to pull that tick off yourself. So what you can do is you can get some tweezers. Be careful not to squish the tick, and you want to pull gently but firmly and slowly. So why slowly? It's like you're almost playing a tug of war with that tick. It's so that the head will actually release and will not stay embedded in your skin, because you really don't want that. If you think that the tick has been hanging on to you for longer than like maybe 24 hours, which means it would be kind of fat and gross, then that's generally when you want to call your doctor and let them know. Before you go yanking the tick off, though, my advice would be to save that tick so that your physician or healthcare provider can properly identify if it poses a threat to human health. So I like to save them in maybe a piece of tape. Sometimes when I pull them off my dog, that's what I do, so they can't get out. Certain diseases that you need to worry about that ticks can carry would be tick-borne paralysis, Colorado tick fever, Lyme's disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, or something called tularemia, which, if I'm pronouncing that right. So, if we have a tick on ourselves, we pull it firmly but gently and slowly, save the tick, contact your healthcare professional. They may prescribe preventative antibiotics for you. So, anyway. So the other part of this is after you have your lovely picnic in the grass and you get covered in ticks, perhaps you would like to go set off some fireworks. Yes. So a lot of people around here have piers. We're on the water. A lot of piers are made out of wood. Wood and fireworks tend to cause issues. So if you do happen to set off a firework on your pier, of course done in a very appropriate manner, and yet your pier catches fire, other than contacting the authorities to put out the fire, one thing you would like to do is perhaps come into our office and seek a permit for a pier repair if a few of those boards get singed. Generally, you don't need to apply to MDE, Maryland Department of the Environment, for this permit. You would just come directly into our office and be like, I need to replace a few boards. So you're welcome to give us a call at any point and ask if, what the appropriate measures to take for pier repair would be. So we've got our ticks, we've got our pier repair, and with that, I am finished.
Okay. Now, Hannah, some of these events where fireworks are used can attract crowds. What do you think about taking your pet to an event that has a crowd, with or without fireworks? with or without peers that catch fire. Just a crowd.
Well, Bill, I would not recommend taking your pet to events that attract crowds, especially because more pets are lost around the 4th of July than any other time of year. So this coming up 4th of July, it's really important to take preventions. Now, a lot of pets can be stressed out in crowds, and of course, we want our pets to spend those fireworks or fun gathering events with us, but for a lot of pets that aren't used to being around crowds, it can be very stressful and they can get away from you and just a whole mess of things can happen. So I would recommend leaving your pet at home if you're going to see fireworks or any other, crowd related event. Between the crowds, the noise of the fireworks, the strangers, it can just be very stressful for them. So like I said, keep your pets inside, preferably not alone. If you're able to stay home or have another family member stay home with them, that might help keep them safe and also make sure that they are not lost during this time of year. A lot of pets will have a safe place like a crate or maybe their bed or a quiet area of the house where they like to relax. If you can make sure that they stay in that area and not outside unsupervised, even if you have a fenced yard, this time of year pets can hop over a fence even if you don't think they can. If you're not supervising and they get startled, it is possible. Could even dig underneath the fence or maybe find a hole in the fence that you weren't aware of. So please just keep your pets inside in a safe area. Give them some treats now and then to reassure them if they are stressed out from the fireworks. Another thing you can do with the noise of the fireworks is to close all the windows and turn on some music or TV to kind of help distract them and take away from the noise of the fireworks. There are other calming measures you can take, such as calming wraps for your pets, like calming clothing. There are several different brands on the market. There are calming treats or supplements, and there are even calming collars. So those are some things you can look into and potentially even discuss with your veterinarian, depending on the level of anxiety your pet may experience from fireworks or other noise-related events such as thunderstorms that occur often in the summer. Another thing to keep in mind is just to try to act normal around your pet. If you're anxious and you're worried about them, they feed off of those vibes from you. So just try to act normal, go about your normal routine, don't make a big deal of anything. And a very, very important tip, other than not taking your pets to crowded events or noisy events like fireworks, is to make sure that they have a valid identification with current information on it. So whether that be an ID tag or a microchip or preferably both, make sure they're connected to not only your current contact information, whether it be phone number or address, and also to have whatever contact information you need on there and keep that current and have that on your pet. If you have a tag but you don't have it on them, or you have a microchip and you don't have it registered, it's not going to help you out if it comes to a bad situation. And also just try to have a current picture of your pet in case anything were to happen, that your pet were to get out. The best way to find them would be able to have a current picture of them. And then just another reminder that around the holidays we like to have cookouts and we like to give our pets some of the same treats that we're enjoying, whether that be hot dogs or fatty cut off a steak or whatever it may be. So just remember that too many fatty scraps can actually be very bad for our pets. Even though they enjoy them, they can cause a lot of health issues. So please don't give your pets those fatty table scraps. And if you do give them human food other than any normal dog food or treats that they would consume, please give them just very small amounts and look up toxic foods. There are a lot of common foods like onions and garlic that we would consume without a second thought that are toxic to our cats and dogs. So please keep that in mind, and as well as alcohol. That is not good for our pets. It is not funny. It is not healthy. So please just don't give your pets alcohol. Don't let your guests give them alcohol. Make sure you lay down the ground rules if you have anyone coming over. And another thing to keep in mind this time of year is glow sticks. Those actually have chemicals that, while your pet may think it is their dog bone or their toy and chew it up, is actually very unhealthy and dangerous for them. So please just keep those away from your pets, and keep an eye around the house. If your pet is stressed out from fireworks or thunderstorms or anything like that, make sure you have anything picked up that could be potentially hazardous to them. So again, just try and keep your pets at home, identified with the proper identification, and go about your routine pretty much as normal.
There are certainly a lot of things that can stress out the pet, and I presume they also stress out the owner in some cases. Are these comfort collars good for humans? With for
a good question.
Bracelet, or we could probably use a few around the office from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So with the with the 4th of July coming along, The Declaration of Independence is a topic of fascination and a subject that invites an infinite amount of research. One question that comes to mind as the 4th nears is, what was the date the Declaration of Independence was signed? July 2nd, 1776 was the day the representatives of the colonies, meeting as the General Congress, approved the Resolution of Independency, which then became incorporated into the Declaration of Independence. With the passage of the resolution, the United Colonies of America officially became the United States of America. Following the resolution, the Declaration was written and agreed to on July 4th, but July 4th was not the day that it was signed. 4 of the 56 signers were representatives of Maryland, including William Paca. Mr. Paca was 35 years old when he signed the Declaration. For him, that was August the 2nd. Paca had been a member of the Continental Congress since 1774, later became Maryland's Chief Justice, and was elected governor in 1782. I mention him not because his career was of greater significance than the other 3 signers, but because his house and gardens in Annapolis belong to the Historic Annapolis Foundation and are open to the public. In addition to the usual tours, on Friday, July 4th, the 9th annual naturalization ceremony will be held at the Paca House, and 40 candidates will become new U.S. citizens when they take the oath of allegiance.
Woohoo!
That's all I have. There won't be a weekend meetup next week because of the 4th of July. Larry and the crew will be back on July 12th. Carrie Ann, Hannah, any final thoughts?
Have a safe and happy July 4th.
Yes, I would like to as well.
And I hope that you can.
Thank you.